Hello everybody from Plant Reviews to the UK. Today is the 23rd of April, and in this video I want to talk about a very unusual tulip. As you know, I do love species tulip, the wild tulips. However, there are some varieties that have still their appeal. I believe they're ornamental varieties, and actually this belong to one of the ornamental varieties group that is one of the newest in the tulip world, and this is the black parrot tulip. Parrot tulips were known since the 18th century, I believe, for their very ruffled flowers. However, the genetic mutation leading to these very wavy petals usually affected also the stems and the flowers that were very twisted, so they were not really particularly appealing in the garden. However, in 1910 appeared a tulip called Fantasy. This is what I read, and this was actually showing the parrot tulip features of the flower, but with actually sturdy stems, not twisted, and this became basically the start of the selection of this group of tulips that belong to the division 10 of the ornamental tulip classification. Black parrot is a plant that is usually 50-55 centimeters tall, and the leaves of this tulip, as usual, are kind of glaucous green. This is actually the leaf of the tulip. The other leaves that you see here are of other bulbs, like Nerine, for example, because in my garden I have several bulbs in order to get to extend as much as possible the blooming season. As you know, you can see the most of the beautifully fragrant azettas have already faded, while I have also some early tulips that have faded, but this one, the black parrot, is now really in full bloom. The flowers in this specimen are about the only flower that I have of black parrot is about 10 centimeters across, and about the color you can see this gorgeous deep purple color, and you can actually see why the tulip is called black parrot, because it has this feathery appearance on the tepals. They are kind of cut and wavy, a little bit like the feathers of a bird, indeed the feathers of a parrot. Some of the parrot tulips are actually also very famous to be to show a very good combination of colors in two or even three colors. Like, for example, there is a tulip called Estrella Reinwald that is white, red and green, and also there is another tulip called Texas Flame that is green, yellow and red. However, this black parrot is basically solid color, this deep maroon purple, that is only basically the only variation in this tulip of color is actually near the center, that is kind of blackish, but really looks almost like a solid color. The fragrance, about the fragrance of this tulip, I really can't detect any fragrance, unfortunately. This, anyway, as you know, even fragrant tulips usually don't really have much fragrance to spread around the garden. Some varieties, like Apricot Beauty, if you cut them and bring them indoors, they have a scent strong enough that you are able to actually detect it in a room, but really in a garden I've never found a tulip really that I can detect the fragrance wafting in the garden. Like, for example, I can detect fragrances from Tazetta daffodils or from Budleias, lilies, etc. However, really, if you like a tulip that is really a bold statement in the garden, definitely I can recommend black Parrot. Some tulips come year after year, and some others usually come back only the second or third year. I have actually quite a few black parrots in the garden. I planted them about 3 years ago, and unfortunately this is the only one left now. So this is, in my opinion, a tulip that does not reliably come back year after year, unlike, for example, Darwin tulips or species tulips. However, I would say that considering how beautiful and how unusual is the flower, definitely worth to have it in the garden if you want something bizarre for you, and of course to show to your family and friends. Black Parrot is one of the easiest tulips to find on the market. You can find it online, of course, but also you can find actually in the United Kingdom in almost every garden centers you walk in autumn. They usually have a large selection of tulip varieties, and black parrots has always been one of the favorites, thanks indeed to this very deep color and the fact that is so unusually shaped, the very unusual shape of the tepals. In the United Kingdom, there is mostly USDA zone 8 and 7. It is recommendable to plant tulip bulbs between late October and late November, early December. Of course, in coldest countries or warmest countries, the time of planting can variate. However, tulips do not really reliably bloom in USDA zones 10 and up, because they really need a cold winter in order to be able to bloom. The bulb need to be exposed indeed to very cold temperature, usually about 0 degrees Celsius. Indeed, the bulbs are actually under the ground are resistant to several degrees below 0. Indeed, this is a tulip that is hardy between USDA 4 and 8. I've read some sources that say this tulip is actually hardy even in USDA zone 3. I think zone 9 is really the warmest zone that you can actually reliably cultivate a tulip in order to bloom them. But I know that some people in USDA 9 don't have much success with some of the tulip varieties. So I am not aware. I know some tulips can bloom in USDA zone 9. Possibly Black Parrot is one of them. However, I can guarantee, of course, that this flower blooms perfectly great in my zone, that is USDA 8 in the United Kingdom. However, some years the United Kingdom is a bit warmer, so I think it's more similar in climate to USDA 9 than USDA 8, so I'm very confident that this plant, even if I can't be sure 100%, will be able to bloom in USDA zone 9 too. The bulbs need to be planted about 10-15 centimeters deep in autumn. Be careful that rodents have not access to the bulb, so plant them as deep as possible. 10-15 centimeters will be a great depth, and because rodents tend to eat bulb tulips a lot, they're like candies for them, and the leaves will start sprouting usually around winter, with the plant blooming in mid-spring. After flowers fade, the leaves will continue to be green for a few more weeks, and they will die down between late spring and early summer, when the plant goes dormant. In the garden, of course, it's very important to plant them in full sun. Tulips love full sun, but are partial shade. But even more important is to plant them in very well-drained soil, because tulip bulbs are very sensitive to rot, and actually especially in summer, when the plant is not in active growth, the bulb is dormant. So if the ground around the bulb is very wet, it can easily rot. So if you have the bulbs, tulip bulbs in a pot, just don't water them in summer. if you have tulip bulbs in the garden, if you plant them in very well drained soil and you have to water the garden because the other plants of course will need water, don't be afraid, because the well drained soil will make the water go through the first layers of the soil where the bulb is located, and anyway the moisture will be rapidly absorbed by the other plants that of course in summer are in active growth, and probably many of them are blooming. As usual, I hope that you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, it would be great if you can please give a thumbs up, and if you like this video and other videos on my channel, it would be great if you can please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you next time. Bye.